All right. So, did you guys watch
Hey,
AEW?
let me tell you something about AEW. Okay, Joe.
Yes.
I don't know what the rating
Joe.
was. Like, I'm going to
Yeah.
guess that the number was good. I'm not even going to tell you about the show, but I think the number was probably pretty good for this. Go ahead.
Okay, so Joe, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. What's up?
Okay, I'm gonna give you some. I'm gonna give you some figures, and I want you to check out if they're accurate. I read this today, and I wrote it down. Okay, Dynamite, July 12th, 825,000 people.
Okay. Is that it?
Huh?
That's the only one, or?
Okay, Rampage, 7/14, 2 days later, 310.
Uh-huh.
Collision, 7/15, 759. And I didn't know that they had Battle of the Belts the same day, but I guess they did.
3 hours.
7/15, 525. Can you verify those numbers while I'm talking with Disco?
Okay.
For a total.
What is 7/15, 525?
Collision.
No, that's Battle of the Belts, right?
Yeah, Collision is 7/15 and Battle of the Belts is 7/15.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, 525 and 525,000 is what you're saying, right? Yeah.
Right.
Right. Okay, cool.
Okay.
July 15th.
Then
Go ahead.
Right.
All right.
All right. Go ahead. Start Dynamite while he's looking up these figures.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
What was the rating? What was the rating?
Oh, it was sorry, I had it. What can I do with it? My bad.
I got it right here.
Yeah.
What
so
is it?
do I. It's 825.
Wait, Dynamite?
I'm sorry, 953 up from
953, right? Yeah, absolutely. I thought it'd be good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make a good point here too. So first off, right at the bat to start with hooking Jack Perry, but his old entrance theme plays. He doesn't come out. Lights went out. A video package aired with Perry dragging a body wearing his old Jungle Boy boots into a grave, and then a limo arrived. And Perry looked back at the grave and hopped in the vehicle. And Perry came out to classical music entrance theme. He went to ringside and got the face of a smirking kid. So he's just ditched the Jungle Boy character. Now he's like a Hollywood
Jack Perry.
Yeah, son, whatever that, right? So they did. These guys took a lot of big bumps. Like there was a suplex to the floor and stuff. Everything. Him and his Hook and Jack Perry beats Hook. Which by hit him with the belt with very poorly done ref bump spot in this. It was very
terrible. That was terrible.
Right, and I did not like Hook doing the no sell when he suplexed him. That was But other than that, these guys work very good together. And we talked about this like almost a year ago that these guys should be working against each other, maybe have girls involved and stuff and thing. But But this
it's not too late for that.
Right. This was a decent match for the two of these guys, except for I did not, like I said, sometimes when the referees are involved, the finishes go awry on the show. So this is not
but there's
good.
There's little changes happening on the show as far as formatting and pacing and having threads. Like I said last week, you had 2 threads, which this week you had 2 threads again. And if you remember when this guy came down to ringside, there were 2 hot girls on ringside, which they usually don't shoot that at most. And I've been there. They don't have a lot of hot girls. And where they would usually end up is in the hotel after the show, and they're definitely not there. So, and then later on, when I forgot who was wrestling, they showed 2 hot girls again. So obviously,
it was a good crowd too. Yeah.
Right. But let me tell you what I thought, because I think a little bit different than you on this, and tell me where you disagree if you do. First of all, he definitely needed a change because that other gimmick was corny. Would you agree with that or not?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
I totally agree, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And, they're doing everything to get him heat. He's wearing black. He got in a kid's face for cheap heat. But my problem with him, Disco, is he doesn't look to me or come off as intimidating. And for that matter, neither does Hook. Maybe the kids and teenagers or some girls or some nerds, but I don't believe to both men he does. And even with his facial hair, he looks like a teenager. Would you disagree or agree with any of that?
No. He looks like a kid.
Okay, right. And it's like Utah. Utah had the same problem. He grew a beard and he doesn't look like a teenager anymore. Here's one thing that you may not have noticed. There was a part when they were both outside and Hook was picking up Perry and he was talking to him and hiding it with his hair. And you probably, Taz showed him that because unlike a lot of other veterans on their show who should know better, they just talk right in front of the camera. And here's another problem I have with them. And I like both guys. I've met them, very nice guys, but it is what it is. Excalibur goes, look at this edge, look at this intensity. And I'm thinking, what edge, what intensity? He's not that physical. He should be all over him like in the heat spot. Bro, the people, he did have heat during the match, but I think he should be more physical. And since he's not that physical, it's hard for me to invest. He should look at a Miro match where Miro just goes in and destroys him, or what Rush did to him when he threw him like a fish at the fish market. Right. That's how he should beat up Hook.
He'd be vicious. You know he got show viciousness. Right. Yes, exactly.
Right. And he does it.
Paul Orndorff taught me a lot about that. He said, like, when you are beating down on a guy, you have to believe it in your head. That's where viciousness comes from. It's like you got to get that, like, So then a lot of these guys, a lot of people in the business don't like that old school philosophy stuff like that. They don't incorporate it in their work. And like he needs it though if he's going to be a heel. So they show. Right. So here's our first.
And last thing, did you see Great German Bridge? He also did Hook. And you could just tell the way he was holding on to Perry that he's good at amateur wrestling. And again, I just have to agree with you. That ref bump was brutal.
Right. Okay, so next we go to so our first thread is
just so Konnan knows your numbers were pretty close, but Dynamite was 825, Rampage was 310, Collision was 579, and Battle of the Belts was 524.
All right, so that's about the same thing.
Yeah.
And so basically, this was a total of I read this today. It was a total of 2,239,000, right? Mm-hmm. And I guess SmackDown from last year did the total of all those shows, 2,309,000. I never even thought of that. Yeah.
All right. So next, our first, they have two threads coming up here. So we start two threads. First one is Alex Marvez trying to peek on at lunch where Don Callis and Chris Jericho were having dinner, and a security guard approached him and they shoved him away because he's trying to find out what's going on with these two, right? So then they have a video from last night where Cole took MJF to a Chinese restaurant because he was going to basically get over his aversion to spicy food. I guess food. Yeah, so they're doing some funny stuff here where they're sitting at the where they're they're eating and they're joking, they're drinking and joking around. It's actually pretty entertaining. And they point out the waiter. Cole said he looks like Sammy Guevara, and MJF says he looks like Danny Garcia. They do a little funny thing here. He says the only thing left to do is a double clothesline, and they show slow motion footage of them getting ready like clothesline the terrified waiter with the double clothesline. But they've been selling the double clothesline for a while. Okay,
yeah, so now when they finally do it on TV,
right. Well, don't get ahead.
I'm sorry.
So we're gonna bring it back.
No, let me say just real quick that I wasn't crazy about the pairing at first. I was just like, but it's growing on me week by week. Like they're a good pairing. It's a good combo.
Well, it's episodic storytelling with a theme. And then it's a thread, and there's like so it's like I said, this is one of the better things. This is how you're supposed to do angles, like you do each week. They evolve and they keep talking about it, and then we'll see it builds up to a great spot in the match. So it's like
something's different there, and I don't know if it's Jimmy Jacobs and Sanjay, Tony listening to other people, but this was not the same show we were watching for 4 years. Okay,
that's interesting because Jimmy had a big part in helping write Jericho and Owens' friendship dynamic. So maybe you're right. Maybe he's in there and he's kind of helping them because he's good at that.
So here's the great thing I like about what's happening between these two. Bro, there's definitely a swerve coming in the future. This will be great because he's endearing himself to the fans and Cole. The only thing they got to make sure they can do, because I can't believe Cole is dumb enough that he doesn't see it coming. So depending on how this is done, he may look dumb, but because I think Cole is smart, I'm for sure they've already figured out a way, or will figure out a way where he isn't buried. But when he does turn, he's going to get all his heat back. And I also like when he kept going, I beat Big Bill for the 95,000 people, like making fun of Hulk Hogan,
Right. Yeah. So then they show there's another thread where Marvez is waiting in the parking lot for Callis and Jericho to come in, but they show up and they get out of the limo and basically they make fun of Marvez and don't tell him anything. Then we do Britt Baker. I don't know what the purpose of this was. Britt Baker versus Kayla Sparks.
I think that the purpose is, Disco, is they're trying to make sure everybody thinks that Jerry's going to meet Don because they caught him eating, and then in the limo, and he called him a fathead and all this. But I just think they're overselling the no-sell. Like they're making it too obvious that Jericho's going to join and he's not going to join, because I think they're like us. They like swerves.
Right.
Is there any update on Don since the incident after Triple Mania?
Oh, he's on the show, Joe.
Yeah, I mean, but has Konnan talked to him?
What's the question? Because you're breaking up.
Oh, had you heard anything from Don since Triple Mania?
You don't have his number. You can't text him.
No, I was just curious if you had heard from him.
All right, so let's keep going here. We're getting behind.
Yeah.
So then Britt Baker comes out and has a match and beats Kayla Sparks in 1 minute. Nothing, bro. They need to interview Britt Baker.
This accomplished nothing.
Nothing, because the minute and 5 should have been spent on an interview with Britt Baker about the relationship going on between MJF and Adam Cole. What does she think of this? You know what I'm saying? So I don't. This is they missed a spot here. They should have Britt Baker. We need to find out what's going on with her. So then they interview Adam Cole and MJF on a backstage set. They spoke about their matches, and MJF revealed he bought matching tights. Cole said one more surprise for MJF. I have to wait and see. After they left, Roderick Strong showed up looking concerned and called for Cole. So he's like the jilted lover. It's pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
So Cole's surprise for MJF was they had a matchup that blended their theme songs. And MJF was giddy, and Jericho said it on commentary and said that he and Don Callis are still negotiating. The referee wanted to call for the bell, but Garcia stopped and did his dance, and MJF returned the favor. Then they went back and forth. Doing Garcia's dance, and MJF called for a dance off, and he went to ringside and pushed a production button, which triggered some dance music. Guevara and Garcia danced first, and MJF followed while Cole sat in the corner looking mystified. MJF pointed to Cole, did some bad pelvic thrusts, and MJF had to stop him once the music stopped. And Garcia and Guevara attacked Cole and MJF and were rewarded by the referee who called for the bell to start the match. This was very entertaining, and the fans were eating this up. I thought this was very good so far. All right, so then they had the match. And they kept doing a thing where they're building to the double clothesline, like they're ducking it and stuff, everything and all that. They did a spot where MJF was going to do a tope, and he hit the ropes and went to do it and got cold feet. Then MJF and Cole got fired up and got the crowd with it and held the ropes open. Then MJF did the tope through the thing. It's a good one, actually. It double clothesline both the guys on the floor. It was actually almost like a perfect tope. And they got popped, and then they get back in the ring, and Cole performed the Panama Sunrise on Garcia, and then Cole and MJF called for the double clothesline. They tagged in the double clothesline, and they pinned him with the double clothesline. They got the 3 count. The crowd went berserk. What did you think of this? Oh, no. But by the way, wait, time out. Let me do the post match. After the match, Jericho said he had to console his guys and met Garcia and Guevara on the stage. They walked past Jericho, who they basically just punked him or just did nothing.
Old shoulder.
And Cole was looking at the AEW Championship belt and staring at it. MJF spotted him, got mad, pulled it away, got angry, and then they ended up hugging. This spot was unnecessary. I thought they should have ended on the hug, because then FTR comes out to set up their match for. Like when is that match supposed to be? It's it's in 2 weeks or something, and they did a face off, and I didn't think that spot was necessary. Besides, FTR's music is terrible. Didn't Matt Coon make their music?
I was just gonna say, that's a Matt Coon creation.
No. Yeah. I don't think that's Matt Coon's music.
Oh, they changed it. Yeah.
I think right. Yeah. Because Matt Coon's song was
way better. They used to come out to a theme from the Midnight Express. Remember?
No. That's what they come out to. No. They come out to that now. They used to come out to kind of like a guitar kind of riff. Right? Yeah. I don't know. All right. But that was.
Well, let me just say this real quick. Remember, I told you that they showed hot girls when Perry came out. They showed hot girls when Jericho came out, and they were different ones. So I think they're sitting him in the first row, to think a lot of hot girls are there, which they're not. I thought the dance-off was hilarious. I thought Daniels, the thrusting was hilarious. I thought a little bit of rough Sammy and they were out of rhythm at the beginning and tried to put his legs behind his neck and almost missed him. But anyways, I thought Jericho was hilarious on commentary. The double clothesline, was super over with the fans because they built it up for so long and they actually used it as a finish. Yeah. And I thought it was funny when they were going to do the dance-off and they were like, "Yeah, everybody want to see a dance-off?" MJF said, and Jericho goes, "Yeah," and Tony and Taz say no, and
You go.
Hello? Okay. And I also like when Jericho said, if they hit this double clothesline, Garcia may not be able to ever come back from it. Jericho just seems like re-energized, because he seemed to be going through the motions before,
Right.
Yeah.
I like when they do that in general, whether it's MJF and Cole, like where somebody takes like an old school move or a move that people take for granted and then are like Bryan Danielson used to have the most devastating small package, right? He would use that. Once Danielson hooks up the small package, you're not getting out. And MJF does it with the headlock takeover. You know what I mean? When they use like a basic move and it's like, no, that's that guy's specialty. So their specialty is a double clothesline, which normally wouldn't be a finisher, right? I just like when they do.
All right. So next is backstage. I didn't understand this. Darby, Nick Wayne, Chris Statlander, Orange Cassidy, Trent Barretta, and Tricky. So the best friends are there. And Chris Statlander used to be with the best friends, I think, but now she's back with them again. I don't know why. But this whole interview segment was basically just for Darby at the end. They were talking about all the matches, their title matches they had coming up, and they weren't even giving promos for it. They just, hey, you got a match. You've got a match coming up, and you've got a match coming up. And so then Darby goes, hey, hey, will you do me a favor, Cassidy? Like, my buddy AR Fox, he took me in when I was homeless. Hey, can you give him a title shot? And then he was like, yeah, sure, why not? And that was it. Then they went to go put their hands in the middle, and
wait a minute. It was worse than that. He told Orange Cassidy, AR Fox has been my friend for a long time, and when I was homeless.
Homeless, right? When I was homeless,
yeah,
he took me when I was homeless.
I didn't hear that. Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, right. He didn't help me. Can you give him a match? Yeah. What a reason to give somebody a match. Right.
No, that's what I said. This is just a lame spot.
Right. Very, very lazy.
So they now so whenever you have to lower the cage, there's going to be some dead time. So they had a package for the video package for the blood and guts. It wasn't that long. Bro, they literally, this is an opportunity. They should have had the video package from the start of this angle, like the way that WWE did with the bloodline angle. Like they tell you everything that's been going on. They should have, basically told why did they get into this match. But basically it was just like the rules, the blood and guts and everything. But you could have told because they've already had an anarchy match and stuff. It's like, why are they doing blood? I don't know. But I will say this about this match, okay? Of course, I was probably going to hate this match. But it started off with Kenny and Claudio. Bro, this first 5 minutes, this was excellent. Because these guys were very physical, very basic. They weren't doing and they were just wrestling, fighting, and just very physical and this looked good. So then all the other guys start coming in and everything, right? So Moxley comes in. When Moxley comes in, he goes straight at. This is where it worked. Everything they did here worked for the live crowd. Okay. However, on TV, I'm going to tell me if you think the same thing, Konnan, because I had no problem with this match. I thought they laid everything out well. It was a 40-minute match almost, like 30 something minutes. They layered everything in story, storytelling, and it was very good. Here is my criticisms of the match, and basically at the end, plus the ending was flat. It's like they beat up Wheeler Utah at the end and again submitted him, and it didn't really build up to the crowd. There was way bigger pops for this match than there was for the finish, right? But I'm going to tell you some of the things that I thought that I would have done differently.
What they should have done to get a pop is beat somebody that has name value. But go ahead.
Okay, because you knew this guy was probably, if anybody was going to lose this match in the heels, this guy was going to lose. So,
and he did, so they're like, okay, we knew that.
Right, and they did a spot where basically packing, after all they've been doing in there, packing, Claudio got into it and Pac left. Then Don Callis took Takeshi out of there. So the heels are basically just outnumbered at the end, and they got beat, right? But I'll say this: they did a thing where they poured like broken glass, okay, and they also had a bed of nails, and they're doing spots on these things, and the company is popping huge for it. But on TV, as this stuff is going on, you're looking at like going, these guys aren't really bleeding from this stuff. This is obviously fake glass and fake nails. And you kind of figured that out after that. Did you get that feeling when you're watching this? Yeah. Because they're doing tons of stuff that should have been really bloody. If you're doing broken glass and things, it's like, well, that's fake glass and fake nails. Did you get that out of that?
Yep.
Huh. Okay. So it was.
Absolutely was. Bro, come on. They powered. He picked up and scoop slammed the guy in a bed of nails, and his back wasn't even cut. It's like, come on.
And there's no.
Right, yeah.
They must have had it dulled, or I don't know.
Yeah, and the only one that was bleeding was Moxley.
Of course.
Like all these other guys should be busted, right? Of course. So it's just like another Moxley, but he was bleeding like a pig too. But I will say this,
let me.
What are you trying to say, Joe?
He's got a he likes to use the blade, a lot.
Okay, so next.
That's all. But let me say, Dan, before you wrap up, but these are texts that I got from friends of mine who are fans. Okay. And I know people think a lot on YouTube that I kind of, always back up AEW and stuff. So, but this is how people are honestly messaging me about that match. Really, a bed of nails, is that necessary? I think the one Japanese guy might die. It looks like he sliced his wrist. These guys' wives should tell them enough is enough. This isn't even entertaining. This is horrible. Someone is legit going to get hurt. And this is making me uneasy. Oh, tax now. So I'm saying, like, it's not for every fan. You know what I mean? This hard, like some people that are old school fans are kind of like, this is a lot.
I just thought
the thing is, go ahead.
I just thought of this. Okay, and this is why bro, it's like they did all the spots and like the stuff for the fan. Bro, they just had the verdict came down. All these things that you can't do on the show anymore. Bro, this would have been stuff if this was real, and these guys were gushing blood and bleeding all over, that they would, I guess TNT didn't want that type of content, even though Moxley was the one bleeding all over the place, everything. But I think this is from the fact that they had the thing you can't do this, all these things they can't do now. I don't think TNT wanted a bloodbath on this show, which is what it came across as, not a bloodbath. And let me tell you my other criticism of this, bro. The thigh slapping does not work in a match like this. It sticks out like it's like you're trying to sell this very real. And when these guys came in and started doing all the thigh slapping, I was just like, that's me being critical, but that's what didn't work for me. But this match was pretty good because they weren't really bleeding profusely all over the place, except for what's his name. But bro, 51 minutes and 15 seconds this match was. And it's but bro, the show overall, you can tell that Tony's the writer of the show, and he's writing a show now with threads and stuff and things. So as the writing of this show has improved, and we see a number. Well, they were going to get a good number because it's like a pay-per-view type match anyway. But I thought the show was pretty good. What did you think about this match? What did you think of the show?
Yeah, I thought the show was good. I just
pull your mic down. Pull your mic down.
I thought the show was good. I like that Omega and Claudio started it because they're maybe the two best workers there. But I think the problem was it was denominated blood and guts.
Right.
And so they had to bring all this stuff that was not necessary. They could have had a great match with, once the Fort came out, then, Abdullah the Butcher, the Fort came out, then the glass, then the bed of nails, and you're thinking, what is going on? I don't know if you heard this. Did you hear when Excalibur was doing a read for Shark Week?
Yes.
Blood donation promotion.
Yes.
And everybody popped. Shabani, Taz, and Callis. That was funny. The fans were into it. They were chanting "Fight Forever." Different. Pac flipped up his partners, walked off. Callis pulled Takeshita so he wouldn't have to be. I actually met him in TJ. Very, very nice guy, like most Japanese.
Right.
I thought it was good, but like you said, the finish was flat because, bro, nobody's career is going to be over if another top guy beats you. Nobody's. Why are you beating Yuta if you're trying to make him? He's taken a lot of losses, and he lost again, and it didn't mean
right.
Well,
that would be my only criticism. I like the match, though. Yeah.
Here's what Tony said recently when he was interviewed, asked about these AEW rule changes or whatever that we all read. And he said, yes, I want to have a great pro wrestling company, a hard-hitting pro wrestling company. These aren't really crazy changes. It's nothing that's going to change the show. It's really more guidelines for the referees than anything else, and it's good stuff for the wrestlers to know. And he also estimated that throughout AEW's entire run, only about 20% of the time has he had anything suggested to be changed or no, we don't want that on TV. So about 20% of major matches have had little changes from the networks.
All right. That's been our AEW review.